Hey, I'm Paul Salt, and I am playing with AI right now. Now, I wasn't planning on making this video, but I was just playing with Codex, and my daughter just went to sleep, and so I was just trying to see like what the state of everything was after my demo I did the other day, and this is the first chance I got to sit down to actually code today because I had been messing around with doing some video work because they're doing a lot of construction up in my attic. So I thought, okay, let me just try a couple things. And like Codex 5.1 Max on high is like really good so far. So when I started today, this was the state of things where like I left it and it added some weird oddities where there was like this dash line and a debug mode. It started adding all these things, and I'm like, "What are you doing? I don't understand." And this is still on. There's a new version of Codex, but I'm still running the previous version, even though I've updated and installed the other one. So I just asked a couple things to explain itself and talking about the crop save. I asked it to explain like what's going on here, and it just gave me a breakdown of everything. So this is super helpful. I probably should like copy this so I can read this later, just to see if this is like something that would be meaningful. I'll just throw this over in my work log. Let's say, let's go to the top or the bottom. Which order am I doing? And this is cropping logic. And I don't even know if this is like worthwhile, but we'll find out. So there's that. So I'll save that just because if I scroll, sometimes text gets clipped right now. And so I can just sort of go through this. And then I didn't know why it added dash lines. It like just did its own thing. And then it said it had this extra debug symbol. I didn't really want this. Like I said, I don't want that. That's not the issue. It's the UI view being exposed in accessibility. So I was trying to see, and I still don't know if this is going to work because of the way it is designed. I was trying to see if I could look at this with accessibility inspector. And it comes up odd. There's a spider view app. And will it break down the hierarchy? It looks like there's a bunch of like off-screen things, which don't make a whole lot of sense to me. Like some of the stuff I get, whatever it's doing under the hood, I don't fully get. So I can get accessibility on the buttons. I was really hoping I could have it do accessibility on this, and that doesn't seem to be working just yet. But that's like totally separate issue. So that's not really a problem. I'll just close that. The app lets me go forward and backward in frames. I can crop, and we will see this if I show last crop. We can see what we see are two spider legs at the very top. So that's great. But I really wanted this to be able to drag, and I really wanted to be able to drag things around and then recrop. And so I just kept asking it some questions. It also, this is like a special script that it wrote to bundle an app. Like there's a whole bunch of gobbledygook to do all that because it didn't actually like make an Xcode project. It just sort of made the stuff. So there's this whole script in here called make app bundle that creates a whole app bundle. And the crop button wasn't working. So I just asked it a couple simple things. I said, fix the crop button. It went ahead, put in some stuff. Now, crop button, doing some stuff, saving a temporary. There's a last save crop button. So that's this. And it told me overlay would stay solid. And then I wanted to know how to build it because it was confusing. It was like giving me this huge mess of of text in order to build it. If we look at this, I think it might have had it. It wanted me to do like this, but then I had to build it right here with this bundle, and it was just like this whole mess right here. I didn't want to deal with that, so I said it was really confusing. It tried to clarify like how it works, and I didn't really care. I said, give me a make file, and I just want make. So then it created a make file, and I said, make the default, build and run the app. And it kind of got this wrong a couple times. So I said, make it launch the app bundle, build and launch the real app. And I said, all in one, please, build and run, please. I'm just reading what it was saying, so I didn't even test it in these situations. I just saw like it was doing things that I didn't want it to do necessarily. Maybe it was on the right track, maybe it wasn't, if it wasn't showing me the full thing. So I said one command to roll them all, and now it says make does it all. So now I can just run make, and boom, I have the app up. I can frame step, I can go back, I can crop, and then I can see the last crop. So that's frame 0. If we crop to the next frame, show last crop. That's kind of a weird thing. I have to hit crop again. Okay, there's frame 1. I don't know why there's such a delay of writing that, if it's having to seek or whatever, but that is the next frame. So that's where the one claw foot is there. And then it said turn off the dashes. It's okay. You don't always have to spell correctly. It can figure that out. So don't worry about if you have typos. Like I type, I don't know if my keyboard skills have gone down with AI. I just type really quickly sometimes. So then it said the overlays are off, and then I'm running it, but it's still doing this little debug thing that I don't want. But that's just not set to something, I guess. So then it updated those. I guess it unset that. Is that what it changed? And then I said I can't drag the crop. So I want to be able to drag this around. It wasn't working. That was one of the things in the spec. None of the AIs got that working all the way. This one was the closest that actually loaded the video, allowed me to frame step, allowed me to crop. I thought it allowed me to crop, but then when I went back to use it, it actually didn't crop. So maybe I glossed over that. So anyway, I said it's not working, cannot drag, gave it a screenshot. I expect to drag in the crop area, wrote a bunch more code, doing some mouse down, mouse drag events, mouse up. So that's how we can like move stuff around. And it is changing the overlay frame and then getting it to relay out, it looks like. And then it gave me the summary. So I just did a make. That does my default make command. And guess what? I can just drag this around the video frame, which is amazing. So now I can crop in here. And if we go here, I think I hit crop. There we go. Oh, that's weird. Maybe it was still writing to disk. I don't know why this is delayed. But now we see this is a orb weaver, an Arrhenius. You can see there's a cross. So this is a cross orb weaver. It's a pretty cool spider. Now this one actually only has 7 legs. You can see it's missing a leg right here. Its leg was like dangling from, or it was on the ground or something. So this spider was approaching a female. There was a female orb weaver here. And there's 3 males around it, and this one was missing a leg that got ripped off, which is pretty gruesome. So that is the app. This is the first AI that's been able to get it. One-shotting is not really a thing, but just being able to talk to it is a thing. And so this is why Codex is the best right now, is it's so intelligent. You give it some pictures and it can figure stuff out. It figured out the math. Why does this math work? But arachnid detector crop and VBox ROI logic is broken. Okay, so my biggest issue is my main app. The whole reason I did this whole experiment is that this guy is totally busted. and it's been beyond frustrating. Okay, so please fix Arachnid Detector to use the same type of logic that you're using to take the bounding box from the Vision API that is coming from that Arachnid Detector, and then crop it out and draw the bounding box. Like, the bounding box in Arachnid Detector is totally wrong. It's not on the spider. I do have other logic. I want to do square crops, but for right now, we just need the detector crop. So if you could integrate the same type of stuff that you have here and just tear out whatever is in Arachnid Detector for the crops as well as the bounding box, replace it with your new logic, I will be in a much better spot. So please go ahead and do that. So I'll just use Whisper to do that and see if it can figure this out. I might want to add one little tidbit here. Nothing in Arachnid Detector is sacred. Do not preserve backward compatibility. Assume all code that you need to modify is incorrect. Please just make it happen. Create a task to do this work. Make it very clear that this new app that you have done is the source of truth for how cropping needs to work, because the region of interest needs to be drawn exactly as you have it so that it is in the correct position, and the crop needs to be done as you have done it so that it is actually cropping where ever that bounding box is. You are Bob. Claim the task and begin, create a brand new task for Arachnid Detector to get started on this. I do not want any legacy cruft. Nothing is sacred. Do not preserve backwards compatibility. Assume that the code is super buggy around this feature that you need to fix. If we can simplify, just turn off everything that was previously written so that we can get to a new starting point. Do not try and preserve the tests. The tests are invalid because they could not prove that this worked properly. We will deal with the tests after you get this integrated. Okay, so I'm just giving it some guidance because this has been so frustrating to fix in the past. I tried like doing a ton of planning up front, and this is where I'm on the fence of like, how much planning do you actually have to do? Like, coming up with an overarching plan is nice, and it's nice when it can execute multiple tasks all at once. But if I have to babysit it and like go back and fix things, it's really frustrating. So I would rather just sort of work in a pair programming sense where I'm giving it little chunks of work and sort of continuing on. And if I don't know exactly what to do, that's where we can have a conversation and just talk about the feature, and we can go back and forth. Like, I'm just saying, okay, do these different things, come back when you have something working. Okay. This is probably way over engineered and over complicated. I mean, it just made up whatever UI it wanted to put over here to show different things. Not entirely sure how accurate they are. The only things that I know are somewhat accurate are the spider classifier. So I have a spider classifier that's trained on 17 species of spiders, or I call them buckets of spiders because there's a few different subspecies all sort of mixed together for some of these. And then I do have an image quality classifier that I'm working on training so that I get better data sets. Okay, so it looks like it is creating a new crop pipeline task. I don't know if some of the stuff that I have in place, like, is probably doing a lot of extra work right now, more than it would have taken if it had just started. I don't know why it's looking at these tasks, because the only thing I care about is it fixing the problem. So it should just be looking at the code to find. And so I'm concerned that it's going to get like, it's going to lose sight of like how this is actually working. While it's doing that, I'm probably okay. That's interesting. Um, okay. The one thing about Codex is it doesn't always like do all the work. Um, and I don't want all these things in the repository because it's going to confuse, because there's so many things that were just broken. So I'm just going to pull them out and put them somewhere else, except for the one that is working. So let's just copy them all. And what was this? A video cropper. Okay. So that's like my experiment. And let's date it. Yeah, I don't know what the date there is. It's just going to be messy. Let's just put this in a projects folder so I can find it again if I ever need it. And then we're going to go back into my app, go to one shot, and let's delete everything that I do not want in here, because these are all trash. I'm just going to commit some of this stuff. I have no idea what all of this is. So I could just say, please do an atomic commit MVP with all local changes, include description that makes sense. Typos are fine. It can like read between the lines here. Hopefully this can do the commit. I think I'm on the right mode. But every now and then I have to adjust things for the test harness. So I don't know. Someone didn't read my rules, because I have rules about adding things. Okay, so Bob added it. We can see that he added it. We go here, and there's other files that were. What did it actually commit? I don't think it actually did anything. I have certain guardrails about only committing stuff from the current thing, and I had asked it to add all this stuff, and so it's sort of following orders and not doing that. just wanted it to do this quickly, so we'll see. It's taking a little bit more. Oh, that reset plan is trash. Where's that? Do I have a folder in here? Oracle has the reset plan. Okay. So now if I do a git status, we'll see this. Now I have a lot of shortcuts, so you'll see stuff like GS. Oh, okay, that's when I asked the Oracle. I mean, that was for this coding exercise. Okay, so next, I don't even remember where we were, but please execute FC15, continue until finished, take your time, do not worry about tests, use the same logic from our work session to fix the crop and RY rectangle drawing. I'm just going to talk this out loud. Your code is the source of truth. Do not consider anything in the app sacred related to this feature because it is totally broken. We do need to think about orientation, but I think you've already proven that you can crop in the correct orientation from a video and that you can draw a region of interest exactly where a rectangle is. So you do have to be mindful of what vision is going to give you, but it shouldn't be that hard. Okay, so we're going to just let it crank on that a little bit. And I don't know, I feel like it's probably going to get it pretty quick. Crossing my fingers. Now, this is where it becomes complicated because once you have a bigger app, things are always a little bit more complicated. So we'll just let this think, do some stuff, and see how it goes. While that's going, I'm just going to start classifying more images. So I'm going to load up my image quality app. This is really what I want to get. All of this stuff on this arachnid detector app has been a huge distraction from what I want to be doing. My primary goal was to improve my models because they need improvement. So just trying to get this test harness into a more usable state has just been super frustrating. But I can now I can load up different videos. I've got photo mode. Photo mode actually works really well as long as this hasn't broken it. So let's go into one of these categories. Let's do Black Widows. Just open this up. This just lets me see, okay, where's the spider? And we can just sort of cycle through. And this worked out really well. Like I should be able to, no, I can't drag. I lied. Okay, so it's missing a feature. But like I could just ask it to fix that and it would be pretty good at fixing that. And so you can see how the detector is actually cropping. Whoop. That's the first time I've seen that. It did not crop the right thing. I'm not exactly sure what it cropped in. There must be multiple spiders. If there's multiple bounding boxes, it might be like this one's out of it. There's got to be multiple bounding boxes, or it's not as, or it could be orientation issue. I can't even tell what foot that is. There's a little dot. Is it this foot? Like it's flipped 180 degrees. Okay, so let's see if it works. Okay, so we'll go ahead and run it. Let's see what changed. Did it already commit? Okay, so let's switch back to video mode. Closer. Really close. So my only question to it is why would, I'll have to double check this. I could be testing the wrong model. But that's what we would expect, is the crop here needs to match whatever is in the original. So here's the original. This is what it's saying the crop is. And that is amazing. Look at that. We just fixed this issue that I have tried to fix 12 times. Getting progressively like more hand-holdy each time, only to have it fail more and more and more. So this is really exciting, to be honest, because this has been so frustrating to get working. The only thing that's not clear to me is when I take this frame over to create ML, which is right here. This is Apple's tool, and I take it to my spider detector. I might have to check which detector I put it in. So let's see, that one's spider detector is already upright. And it's telling me it should be there. I don't know if there's other parameters that maybe affect that. So that is that one. But what if we go to this one? They're all saying the same thing. How about this one? My first version. Oh, interesting. So the 560, this could be an old version of the detector. That looks more like, kind of. It is offset by a little bit, though. Something is still offset by a little bit. If I drag the window, compared to this one, I mean, it looks almost like it's behaving like the 560. These other ones all seem to get larger bounding boxes. So I might have to check which one was actually exported. But at least it's giving me in the correct orientation. So I'm going to have it do a test. Can you do a simple test to get the crop of the first frame? Having an issue where it doesn't match create ML. And just drag this over. Are there other parameters that are used when we're doing the object detector with the arachnid detector? Like, is there anything that would change it, or are there multiple bounding boxes being returned that I'm unaware of? I'm seeing like a really tight crop, but in CreateML, it's a wider crop on the spider. So I'm just wondering if there's another setting, or if we get maybe 2 or 3 regions of interest, and we're just picking like the first one. Can you just clarify on this point? I don't know if we need to do a test. Maybe you can just look at the code and let me know. I just don't understand why it's not the same. You definitely fixed the orientation issue, so that is much appreciated. It's still offset from CreateML, so I'm not sure why that is. So we transcribe that, and then let's just take a picture of this. And we'll just grab this and shove it in over here. Now it has 2 images to look at and reason about. I wonder if maybe it didn't fully wire something in. Okay, so 1 B box per detection, no hidden second ROI. I don't know what it's talking about. The setting is set to square. That's interesting. But we are not getting squares. And if I step... Oh, there is something weird there. I don't think it's fully wired stuff. See, this is where I think it's offset a little bit. Okay, rectangle. Yeah. Okay, and then square. Well, square is definitely not square. But that is actually, if I were to imagine this being a square, that could be the body on the short edge. The long edge, we're going to see it go over. And actually rectangle, this should be the actual detector box, which is looking way more in line with CreateML. So if we just had this, and how do I do that? Wasn't there a way to do that? No. I think that would match. Aspect ratio looks better to me. Slightly, just maybe a hair wider, but if that was just shifted up. Oh, I'm on the wrong frame. Okay. See. Okay, we have some kind of offset here. That is the tricky part. Okay, so let's see what else they've said. The ROI doesn't match the crop rec right now when I switched it to the rectangle crop mode. And square is not actually square, but we haven't covered that yet, so don't worry about that. I care more about the detector rectangle doesn't match, like the ROI rectangle is it flipped vertically? Like, do we need to flip the y-axis so that it grabs the right thing? Like, that's the one spot where it feels a little off to me now. I'm gonna have to repaste that. Okay, so we'll just do this, and this is the last thing that we're gonna do. Oh man, it got later than I thought. I want you to fix the issue. I mean, it's nice that it's like walking me through these things, but I mean, this is its job. I can do the math if I want to get out a piece of paper. So while that's going, take a look at my quality. So this weekend, I want to get a new quality model, and I want to get a new arachnid model. This is going to be pivotal for me to do that. So this allows me to quickly annotate if something is good or not. I mean, you can tell this is a black widow. This woodloose hunter is always moving fast and is always blurry. I just do not like the shots. This one's a little low quality. Low quality. That's an orb weaver right there. Looks like a female. Did I say it was bad? Yeah, I did. Here's an orb weaver. That's a female. Sorry if you don't like spiders. It just looks a little like a low quality camera. That looks like some kind of orb weaver. Neoscona is the one it is. That one's decent. It's not the best photo, but it's not terrible. Tarantulas. He doesn't look very happy. It's not a great photo. That one, it's not moving. See, it's blurry, not good. Some of these, I swear, are like Android cameras, and so they're really crappy photos. And a lot of the water spiders are crappy. But I mean, this is a crab spider, but it's not good in focus. That looks like a fishing spider. A wet cellar spider. It's in focus. It's just you've got wetness. What is that? Is that a wolf? It's a fishing spider. Darn. Wolf? That's a wolf. This one's on the edge. Like, it's not terrible. It's not great. I'm just going to mark it as bad. Just this one, it's so dark. It's underexposed and it's motion blur or camera blur. Bad. That's a black widow. Bad. This is a crab. Crab spider waiting to eat whatever thing lands on the flower. That looks like a grass spider. Yes, it's a grass spider. No idea what that is. Really bad photo. Blurry. That was a crab. Another orb weaver. Orb? No, jumping spider. Okay, so we got something. Okay. I mean, this is amazing progress if it actually fixed this problem. Boom, boom. Oh, yeah. So I'm looking at this dot. This dot is in the bottom, and I see it here. I don't think this button actually works. I don't know why it's there. Let's do a debug snapshot. Okay, so that is the new thing. Everything matches except for how tall it is. And the width. The width is a little different. But it's at least like around the spider. And so now if we start frame stepping, we can see how it moves. And then we could do a new debug snapshot. We can just throw this over there and see what it does. So we just do the full image. Drag that in. And there's this hugging tight. So it looks way better. Why doesn't it match what CreateML is giving it? Is it because we're doing some kind of transformation on the actual saving of pixel data to disk that could change the pixels that are being evaluated versus what we're calculating in app? Like, it seems odd to me that the bounding box is slightly different from CreateML unless I have a slightly different version that I exported by accident. We're going to grab desktop. Are the colors different? That's going to be a problem. That's probably our problem right there. I didn't realize that. Why are the colors different? Is that a CreateML problem or is that a my problem? Is the color space different? Are we handling color space properly? I'm noticing that CreateML shows different colors than I see in the arachnid detector, which makes me wonder if somehow we're causing color to shift, which could change detection. Did that not paste? That's not, didn't work. I'm noticing the color space might be different between arachnid detector and CreateML. I don't know if that's a me problem or a CreateML problem. How could we triage the color issue if that's maybe changing the way that a detector is being detected? Otherwise, what else could cause the detector to be slightly different? Like it's slightly shifted in the vertical direction still. Like, could there still be an offset that we're not properly keeping track of? Because it looks like my crop and my region of interest both match, but region of interest rectangle looks different than what I see in CreateML. Okay, so we'll just let it cook on that. And I'm going to jump back to our quality. This is a jumping spider. It's not bad. They're really tiny, so I'll just go with it. This is another orb weaver. I never like these photos of these guys. Just really washed out, crappy lighting. It looks like a fishing spider, and it is. Oh, here's a recluse. You can tell it's a recluse because it's got basically a violin on its face. Oh, you know what? Sizing could affect it. Can you please do an analysis of the current code and make sure that it's the same or what you would expect? Please just dig in a little bit. Bad. This looks like a garden spider, but you can't see the spider, so it's bad, but you can tell based on the web that it's a garden spider. Bad. 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 Fishing. Yellow sac spider. I wasn't going to guess that. The shadow makes it really hard. I'm going to say bad just because of the lighting. This is bad because of lighting exposure. Bad. 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 It's questionable. It's motion blur. I don't like motion blur. This is an egg sac. We're going to discard this. I don't see the spider unless it's hiding. Bad. Bad. Garden spider? Look like a juvenile. This is just bad. Here's the violin, so you can see the violin right there. So it's saying it cleaned up something. Let's see what it did, and then hopefully it didn't break anything, and then we'll call it a day. But this is really exciting. Like, I feel like we're in a much better position than we were. What frame am I on? Frame 0. And that looks like it matches to me. It's still not the same as the other one. Okay. So next up, I have to train a new model because this is not a grass spider. This is Arrhenius orb weaver, and it only. Oh, this is still a bug. I have it assert there, and yeah. Okay, let's go to create ML. Let's go to the disk and let's just color match. Yeah, color is different than what I see on disk. It's definitely skewed. I don't think it's treating color space properly, or it's got some kind of overlay over everything that's giving me a tint. I think it's a color space issue. All right, so that's a little bit about working with Codex. We can just look at our status. Like, I barely scratched the surface. I used 2% of my budget just like fixing these things that I was spending days, weeks, just like I can do the math, I can do this logic, but I'm just trying to see if agents can do this because I want to be working on the model training and cleaning up my data so I get a better detector and a better classifier, and just having to jump through hoops. So like right now, color space is a problem. Please investigate. And propose 3 solutions for what might be the problem, or propose what 3 problems might be and how we're treating the color coming from this video. It might be HDR content or P3 or whatever it's called. Please investigate. Okay, so while that's going, it's really cool to get this much progress. I'm going to push this since we actually have something working finally. And I think I just overcomplicated the crop logic. I tried to come up with a master plan, just systematic, and it was just not a good plan. Just like talking to it, we got way further in one prompt. Breaking down the problem into a smaller piece was really important. But Gemini could not do it. ChatGPT Pro could not do it. And mainly because we don't have a way to apply Pro cleanly. Like if Pro could like edit stuff, that would be one thing. But trying to get the app harness put together, I think we had some issues there. And so like that's where it's a little bit tricky going from just idea to app, is because you kind of need an Xcode project. Like right now I've got a super clunky make file for this version of the app where I can drag around the region of interest and then crop, just to prove that it knew what it was doing and it could show us a crop image. That was the smallest way of distilling the problem down, and then just verifying that, like, if I put this, let's say, on its abdomen and we resize or something, it's still going to be in the right position. And it's just like little nuances like this where you want the AI to be really intelligent. Okay, so it's giving me some ideas of how to fix stuff. I want you to fix it. What is it? Color different from here to here? Yeah, that's totally different here. And it could be all those transformations I was doing, or I brightened it up. I don't remember. I might have asked it to do a brightness thing, but it looks, the color, the white balance looks different to me, or something weird. So just being able to like prototype and go back and forth and like get fixes really quickly was super helpful. I had just in my spec, like the whole spec, if we just open here, this was the original prompt. I did this on a walk, and this is the reason why I had to like copy paste stuff in from Grok, because I talked to Grok on a walk, and I talked to ChatGPT Pro on a walk, and I talked to GPT 5.1 to come up with this plan initially. So this plan, I went back and forth with what is it? ChatGPT 5.1. Back and forth just to have some context on like what we would do. Apparently there's a lot more code in here. I wonder if I copied the wrong prompt. Oh no. Or did it paste its own prompt? I don't really know. I might have to investigate that. That looks like I might have copied the wrong thing. Maybe I copied the thing from GPT Pro 5.1. We'll find out. We're gonna have to dive deeper into that. I could have copied the wrong prompt. That's not it. You know what? I might have copied the wrong thing. So this could have been a combo of I meant to copy this, and somehow I ended up copying this. All right, so we might have to retest that then. Because that was the prompt. This is the prompt. Yikes. Okay, but I got a totally different result. So I tried to have it apply this one, and that one failed miserably, but it could have maybe gotten stuck on something. And so I don't know. We'll have to dig into that and see. Maybe I have to do a new showdown of GPT-5 Pro versus, I'm probably going to have to do that. I mean, end of the day, Codex 5.1, 5.1 Max are all way better than anything else out on the market. Hands down. So you just ask it to do stuff and it does it, and it's actually really quick now. Like, this might have fixed the color issue. Who knows? Reload the video. Oh, you see how it changed color there? There is something going on. My crop doesn't have it. I just noticed that. It's like it's doing some kind of coloring. That's so weird. Unless it's a overlay layer. I think it could be an overlay layer at this point. But the spider just looks more translucent, so I'm not really sure. I mean, there could be a lot of gobbledygook because the models were just going nuts. Yeah, cool. Well, that's really exciting. It looks like there might be an extra layer here that's causing an issue. Why don't you check and see if there's like a layer that's covering up the video player that's changing the color? Otherwise, it feels like there's a core image filter or something being applied. Now I don't see the color being changed on the crop that's in the picture-in-picture window. It's like just being able to talk to it is, I think, the big thing here. I can actually work on now my model harness now that this is working. Hopefully this is still working. That's the one scary thing. I just want to make sure that like it's actually doing the right bounding boxes. We had a couple where it put the bounding box because that was the square crop issue. So I'm gonna have to fix the square crop. But now that's framing it. That's the long edge. That's the short edge. Maybe it fixed that issue. Holy cow. Black Widow, short edge. No arachnid. So this is why I have to train the arachnid detector. If it cannot see an arachnid here, that's a little suspect. So, oh, what is this? Who would put that into my UI? So it was tinted with a red. Okay, I'm a little colorblind, so I can't always pick up on like exact colors, but I thought it was like shaded. Why? When was that added? Okay, I see a little reddish hue now. Okay, so if we run it, last thing we're gonna check. And it fixed my other crop regions potentially, at least for photos, it's fixed. Let's go back to video because that could also be broken here. Yeah, this one's not right. That's not actually a square. But the photo cropping is correct. All right, thanks so much for watching. If you learned something about working with AI, or if this was interesting to sort of see prototyping a dangerous spider app, and this is my test harness. Like, this is not what I'm going to ship. This is basically a starting point for the model being able to control all kinds of weird thresholds, and change crop stuff so that I can make my model detection more accurate. So that's why I have all of this. AI has been writing a ton of software for me, allowing me to do lots of little experiments, learn things that I had no idea about, try different algorithms that I had no idea about. It's an enabler. And if you've got a lot of ideas and not enough time because you've got a kid, you want to exercise, you've got a family, you've got a house, you got to rake leaves, buy food, make food, eat food, sleep. It's hard to find time for stuff. So, and working like a 9 to 5 job and then trying to do this on the side, like that's where it's a little bit tricky. So hopefully this was interesting. If you liked it, hit the like button, subscribe if you want. I'm going to be doing more stuff about apps for iOS, macOS. There's going to be more spiders. All of my pet spiders have died. They're all in a graveyard over there. Unfortunately, they are getting taken over by mold, and I need a better way of keeping spiders alive. I think I need to make a terrarium so that I can have some test subjects live. That's one of the reasons why I built this harness, so that I could leverage video, so I could capture spiders. It's becoming winter. It's going to be harder to find outdoor spiders. I'll be able to find cellar spiders, no problem, and yellow sac spiders, no problem, because those are two common ones in my house. But getting something interesting like an orb weaver is going to be really difficult. And my pretty orb weaver died when we were on vacation. So, need to learn how to take care of spiders and feed them. I need a better food source. I tried feeding them and they didn't eat some of the bugs. They won't eat stink bugs because they've got natural defenses. So you've got to feed your spiders right. Thanks for watching. I will see you in another video. Hopefully I didn't gross you out with spiders, but that is the focus, because I'm just trying to see what is possible with AI classification, doing machine learning. How accurate can I get it? Can it be trustworthy? And can I package this up in an app? So we will see. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again.